On paper, Buggy is an incredibly successful pirate. He's a former member of Goldie Roger's crew. He's liberated dozens of inmates from the most secure marine prisons and led them to a revolution. He has 2 former warlords on his payroll, and he's put out bounties on the Marines, completely shifting the game by making these protected officials feel hunted for the first time ever. But people still question his greatness. So let me explain to you how this came to be and how Buggy isn't wrong. Buggy is an opportunist in every sense of the word. While his tactics might be considered underhanded or cowardly, you can't argue with the results. Braver men have tried and fallen to reach the heights that Buggy has already eclipsed. Game is game. And that's because Buggy has a power that nobody else in the entirety of One Piece has. And I'm not just talking about his devil fruit. We'll talk about that later. But Buggy has an ungodly amount of sheer luck. Let's start at the beginning. Buggy's story begins as an apprentice on the Rogers Pirates, alongside none other than the red-haired treasure himself, Shanks. While Shanks went on to become one of the most influential figures in the entire world, Buggy's path was less straightforward. After the Roger Pirates disbanded, Buggy set on his own, forming the Buggy Pirates. His obsession with treasure and his devil fruit ability, the Bada Bada no Mi, made him a formidable adversary, albeit a bit comedic as well. The Chop Chop fruit makes him impervious to all slash attacks. Zoro found it out the hard way. In addition to making all swordsmen useless, he can willingly sever any part of his body and control it freely. If he wanted to eavesdrop somewhere, he could literally leave his ear around. He's the only person in the entirety of One Piece that can literally give you a hand, besides Robin. And apparently once his body is severed in any way, these severed parts are able to bypass gravity. So yeah, he can float and fly, that's cool as well, but we've seen Buggy force choke his underlings with a single hand and even carry Jinbei and Luffy at the same time without straining at all. In addition to this, Buggy is also able to transform his body in various ways, so he can do this for traveling purposes or to hide in places or whatever. So honestly, it's a pretty versatile fruit. But his devil fruit is not the reason why he is so powerful. You see, one of Buggy's most significant moments came during the Impel Down arc. While Luffy was on a mission to rescue his brother, Ace, Buggy found himself in the same prison. Instead of being a mere side character, Buggy leveraged the chaos to his advantage. While Luffy was rampaging, Buggy started scheming. He created a temporary alliance with some of the most notorious and powerful prisoners in Impel Down. We're talking joining hands with Crocodile, Mr. 3, Luffy, and Jinbei, and Ivankov. Buggy started looking like the biggest of chads to all the prisoners around, like, damn, I wanna be like Buggy when I grow up. Like, they was really on him. And of course, not wanting to miss an opportunity, Buggy started giving speeches and trying to rally everyone around him like, yeah, y'all see my peoples, you know, we all fam, like, these my peoples, like, we about to get out of here. And it was like,
wow, you're so amazing.
Buggy was lying. But it didn't matter because they believed it. Perception is power. Remember that. That's Buggy's thing. Perception is power. Buggy managed to escape with a bunch of other prisoners on a stolen marine ship. And then we really get to see just how lucky this guy is. Buggy is luckier than King from One Punch Man. If you know, you know. At Marineford, all attention was on Ace, Luffy, and the big names, which worked out absolutely perfectly for our boy Buggy because, you know, that's how his luck works out. Everyone's looking over there, no one's watching the little guy over here. And that's their downfall. You see, while the battle raged on, Buggy managed to avoid serious harm despite clashing with the world's strongest swordsman, Mihawk. Bull ran to fate with Mihawk and walked away unscathed. Because of his devil fruit though, obviously, he's immune to slash attacks, including from Mihawk's black blade, so obviously people saw him fight Mihawk and leave, unscathed.
Damn, he really liked that.
Mind you, Buggy didn't really want to fight a war, he was mostly just trying to survive and stay relevant, but as luck would have it, circumstances and misunderstandings elevate him to center stage. When he pulled up in that stolen marine ship, they were like, oh snaps, a Rogers pirate pulled up on the stolen marine ship. He must be one of those legendary pirates. He trying to get back, he trying to make a name for himself. I like that. That's not what happened, but hey, perception is power. Whole time, Buggy just trying to look for a way out. He did not want to be there, but now everyone's glazing him, and honestly, he kind of starts feeling himself. I would too, but hey, you know what? The show must go on. Speaking of the show must go on, cameras turned on, rolling and scene. Once the cameras are on him, he becomes a whole different person. He's like, oh, cameras on? I got something to say. Then he goes on giving this speech about like justice, ambition, power. the cruelty of Marines and how life's unfair, and honestly, he don't believe none of that, but people are eating this up. This is being live streamed across right now. He getting bigger numbers than Kai Cenat. He is over here doing the most, and everyone is loving it. Above all else, Buggy's trying to save face, like you can't look bad in front of the Huz, so he got a grandstand. And grandstanding worked. His bluffing and cowardice are mistaken for strategy and bravery. And in the end, he ends up carrying an injured Luffy. While he was trying to actually escape, he was fleeing the battle scene, ended up scooping up and catching them. And now, once again, all eyes are on you. I told you the eyes were on Ace, Luffy, and the big names. Now you're carrying a big name and Luffy. All eyes are on you, my guy. What happens next? Well, what happens next is the absolute icing on the cake. Y'all all know how Marineford ended, right? Yeah. Shanks pulled up, but Shanks pulled up and starts making small talk with Buggy. They were crewmates, they have history, but everyone's like,
Yo, he really was a Rogers pirate. He really got down with Shanks. And he got Luffy and Crocodile over them. Yo, Bull really the man. Buggy, Buggy, Buggy.
people start glazing. I'm saying glazing. And now everyone's talking about Buggy. Buggy got friends in high places. He was a member of the Rogers Pirates. He made a whole prison escape from an impenetrable fortress. And he helped Straw Hat. I'm saying Buggy's brand is exploding. Overnight celebrity type stuff. So much so that even the world government can't ignore the superpower that is Buggy the Clown. So they made him a warlord. And that, of course, only boosted his ego even further. After Marineford, Buggy's rise to power continued. There was no stopping the Buggy train. You see, through a series of fortunate events and strategic alliances, he was appointed a warlord. Mans didn't have to do much, but he still got it. Love to see it. And that's because Buggy's ability to manipulate perceptions and play at his strengths allowed him to navigate the complex political landscape of the pirate world. He didn't have to have a trial by combat, no astounding amount of wealth. He just had a ridiculously inflated ego and followers who believed in him. Datebaya. And it's that blind support that the world government feared, not Buggy himself, but who he could convince and how many people could hear his message. And after the Revelry arc, the warlord protection was abolished. But it's Buggy, so he once again got lucky. You know, alliances are everything. Sometimes it's not who you are, but who you know. And we know that Buggy has a wide sphere of influence, which is why he was able to do something incredibly ambitious, and that was the formation of the Cross Guild. You see, the Cross Guild is a new pirate organization that's a bunch of crews and mercenaries, and they work to actively take down Marines. Yeah, they're putting bounties on Marines, all levels. We're talking foot soldiers all the way up to Fleet Admiral. This is the first time this has happened in the history of One Piece, so obviously the world government was not a fan, not a fan, not a fan. Not a fan, not a fan, not a... You see, by aligning himself with formidable figures like Crocodile and Mihawk, Buggy positioned himself as a significant threat to the world government. This alliance showcased his ability to think long-term and secure powerful allies. On paper. In actuality, Crocodile and Mihawk had the idea. You see, Crocodile funded the operation, and Mihawk was the power behind it. Buggy was just the errand boy. His job was to do what they said because he owed Crocodile money, and he didn't want to die. When Buggy sent out the paperwork and the promotional materials for the Cross Guild, there was a printing error, or whatever you want to call it, that made Buggy front and center with Crocodile and Mihawk behind him, making it seem like he was the boss. Once this promo material got out, Crocodile saw it, Mihawk saw it, and they started whooping him, hands and feet, just But then they thought about it. You know what? If Buggy is the face of this, no matter what happens, it's not our fault. Everything falls back on Buggy. Buggy's now the fall guy. But Buggy, don't play with me, we will beat you. So Buggy started listening. You know, Buggy was like, all right, yes sir, Dean Cain, sir. So now that Buggy is the fall guy, he's also the default face of the Cross Guild, which once again only bolsters his influence. Man, he got lucky. Again, lucky that Crocodile didn't beat him and finish him. Lucky that Mihawk didn't do the same. And lucky that he's still alive despite crossing 2 warlords. Lucky man. But once again, this only bolstered Buggy's influence because he's now the official leader of Cross Guild. In addition to this, he uses his delivery company to give Cross Guild a global network of mercenaries, which makes him a problem that once again can't be ignored. He became an accidental legend through mistaken identity and nobody is challenging it. You know why? Because most people don't want beef with a Yonko. Once again, man's got a promotion without doing a job. Love that. In anime, there's a common power that's often overlooked and considered talk no jutsu. Because it works. And Buggy has it in spades. You see, one of Buggy's most underrated skills is his mastery of public relations. He doesn't have the physical strength or prowess to compete with any of the former warlords or Yonkos, but he does have the gift of gab. Whether it's manipulating the media or crafting his own narrative, Buggy understands the power of perception. His ability to control how he's viewed by others has been instrumental in his rise to power. It goes to show you don't have to be the strongest in a traditional sense to compete with others. You just have to know what you're good at and then become great at it. So is Buggy just a lucky fool? No, not at all. While luck has played a supremely active role in his journey, it's his cunning, strategic thinking, and understanding of people that have fully propelled him to the top. Buggy the Clown may have started off as a laughing joke, but he's proven that even the most unlikely characters can rise to greatness. Buggy is a rags to riches tale, and honestly, I can't wait to see where this ends. If you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate it very much. Took some time into this. If you enjoy deep dives, obviously like the video, subscribe. You already put in like 10, 15, 20 minutes of your time. Like, you might as well stick around. We're talking more anime every single week with new shorts dropping every day and posts. So once again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And lastly, if you're a Buggy fan, let me know your favorite Buggy moment in the comment section below. Or if you want to hear about another person that wasn't wrong, let me know. Doflamingo's coming soon.